Thank you for joining us. We're going to be seeing some CA action this evening. We've got God's Hammer versus ZFG. And joining me for the first time tonight as our co-caster is Peter Finchie. How's it going, dude?
Okay, and you, buddy.
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. So, amped for the game?
Yeah, dude, I'm keen, always, quite always. I'm actually quite keen to see what these two teams are going to do to each other and say to each other. For anybody that's watching, this is a friendly CA game. It was organised on the Quake Live Facebook page, so if anybody is keen to do anything similar in the future, just always drop us a message, post it on Facebook, and maybe we can have you guys being streamed here.
Yeah, boy, I'm actually pretty much looking forward to this. This should be quite interesting. I see ZFG are just busy warming up right now. Do you know if the guys have discussed anything about maps?
I don't think they actually have. I'd actually like to ask them how many maps they want to play. Maybe if we can squeeze out 2 maps instead of just maybe a single map, that'll actually be, quite time-worthy. A single map just feels a little bit too short.
What, is this only a single map?
I'm not sure, actually.
As far as my knowledge goes, it's a best of 1, but we can always modify it.
Oh.
They no one's a best of 7.
I didn't realize. Okay, I suppose. Sorry, I just didn't know.
Yeah, I don't blame you. With all the DGL action and PM action we've got going, one sort of assumes that it'll always be a best out of 3 or a best out of 5,
Yeah.
But I'm so used to it, it's rare to seeing just a single game being played.
Yeah, I was quite surprised by that. But nonetheless, it is some CA action, and we've got some pretty big names here this evening. I mean, just looking at who's going to be playing so far, or who's on the server at least, we've got Null, Undead, Void, and Clipped for God's Hammer. For ZFG, Pete Burton, George Quake, and
Give Gods, yeah. He's actually known by Ripley Pug.
Interesting name.
That is actually very cool, Nick, if I have to say so myself, It's probably not as good as Senshi, but, it comes pretty close, to be honest.
Is there enough room for you and the microphone?
I think you guys need to step outside. That's why they make maps like Dreadwoods, for people like me, so I can fit.
Oh, man. Anyway, I'm pretty much, I'm pretty stoked that this is going. We should hopefully be seeing some game time soon.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on Void to join Red as well, and if I can convince them to do 2 maps.
So, do you know if God's Hammer's played any previous CAs or clan matches or anything together already? I mean, obviously it's a fairly new clan. And they have just registered for the DGL. So with the names they have in their lineup, I expect some good results from them. Challenging the Indices and the Ecstasies right at the top.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll see more of them in the future. As far as I'm aware, God's Hammer has actually been around for a while, but really been inactive. As far as I understand, it was started by Lynchpin, and I actually can't remember the other starting member. And sort of since Lynchpin's had some issues with his account and stuff, it's really gone a little bit dormant, and they've actually sort of kicked it up again a couple of months ago. I believe this is their second actual game they're playing against another team. The actual formal game, not just like an informal game. So other than that, I haven't actually seen much of them, to be honest.
Okay.
I know I have the player lineup that's obviously got a lot of active players. I haven't seen much of Philip over the last few weeks, but I know that Undead, Void, and Noel have been playing quite a bit the last few weeks.
I am pretty psyched to see Undead playing again, I have to admit myself. It's pretty cool to see such an old school player come back and grace us with his ungodly aim. So frustrating to play against that guy.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. You know, I've actually quite good friends with Rob, and you know, when I saw him the other night, I actually gave him a call and said, you know, it's a good thing to see you back. You know, it's you know, he's the sort of person that I grew up watching demos of. You know, when I started playing Quake, you know, and I followed the local scene. You know, he was the sort of person I downloaded demos from, and you know, it's just so awesome seeing a person that was reached such heights in our community, you know, coming back. And you know, it's sort of like riding a bike. You can just see him, you know, getting right back into the saddle. The aim is right back up there, you know, and you can see from constant playing, you know, he's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a quick question, guys. Who's Alvain? Is he playing tonight?
Yes, Alvain is Calypt.
Oh, Calypt. Okay, so Alvain is actually known as Z-Drag. He actually played for Nav's CS team recently, just to let you guys know. So he's a CS player as well. Yeah.
Alright guys, our host just informed us that Calypt is actually called Z-Drag. It's one of his aliases. He actually plays for Nav Gaming Counter-Strike, so he's obviously been active, just not maybe in Quake.
Pretty interesting. Find a lot of, well,
Currently
there are plenty of
suspended.
Quakers or cross-platform gamers between the two titles. I mean, Steven's CSGO player. I mean, you played a couple of, I'm sure you played CS competitively.
I did actually play 1.6 and CS Source, but it seems we're actually going live with this map. So,
here we go.
Oh, and some trash talking right at the start of the game. This is going to be funny.
Baseman on.
Some trash talk from both sides, and we've actually got a lot of action going on. Both teams just dishing out the punishment so far. You know, I'm actually just watching the ZFG players. Both teams actually having one of their guys go down very quickly, and it looks like ZFG are just down to one player.
That one player is running down all sorts of hell, though.
Yeah, no,
I'm quite amazed he survived that long.
Yeah, he's actually done quite a bit of damage this round. Hasn't managed to pick up any kills yet so far, but let's just switch over to the GH players.
Fortunately, he goes down to that rail.
Very interesting, I must say. You know, just dueling it out in the middle of the map.
Look, Calypt sticking around bridge and really raining down hell with those rockets, but going to Vuurten's algae there. Vuurten taking down Undead as well. It looks like he's going to take the round here. ZFG take the round really well played. Solid push on bridge there.
Begins in 3, 2, 1, fight.
That's awesome. Some more trash talking from the ZFG side. Like you said, the rounds have evened up, and it looks like GH are actually going to take this round quite quickly as well. Lots of damage coming down on both sides. It just seems like it's just Repeat left. He's actually got quite a good stack still though. Oh, he does take away another one. Oh, and he actually just gets owned. Very funny spot that he was struck in, but you know, looking at the scores of players, this is actually quite even.
2, 1, fight.
You wouldn't think it, but for the names that they have, or for the, I don't know, the sort of expectation their name carries, perhaps they're just not CA players. You know, they're strong aimers. Yes, they can duel, definitely. But perhaps CA is just not their mode. But it's proving otherwise here at the moment. They're simply putting on a pretty solid performance. They're just completely taking advantage of that aim.
I must say, I'm quite enjoying watching the God's Hammers players, you know, meeting up at Bridge / Red Armor. You can see that it's been working well for them so far. It seems like they're sort of going with a 3-1 strategy where they've got one guy, you know, flanking, which seems to be Calypt at this point in time, and just the other 3 members sticking together and doing lots of LG damage. And Zoten actually manages to take down Spaceman. This is a 2v2 scenario.
Yeah.
I'm actually just watching Undead at the moment. He's very low. He's definitely available. He actually does back off from engaging Fulton, so it seems like they are backing off a little bit.
Wins the round.
Oh, what a rail!
Fantastic shot.
What a rail! And it's 3-2 at the moment, you know, and GFG pull a round back. once again you can see the 3-1 tactic working very well for God's Hammer there. The three guys working together as a team, and Philip being your flanker, coming around the side doing lots of damage. He does actually go down that round, and it's just Spaceman left at the moment. And he actually takes Rocket to the face, and it's all even up.
Round begins.
So I'm quite surprised right now because if you look at the scoreboard, Futen's timing out. We might just have to time out for a second.
Alright, it does look like his ping's actually gone back to normal. Seems like just had a bit of a wobble there. Looking at the scores, once again,
looking at the scores, I mean, Burton is really playing well this evening, solidly. I mean, having the same damage output as Spaceman right now. Just one less in terms of score and death ratio.
Don't forget his 60% rail.
God's Hammer is, or has just taken a round. So, 1-up, ladies and gents.
Spaceman is actually rocking 37% LG accuracy at this point in time, and let me tell you, anything over 30% feels like basically every shot hits. And he actually managed to get a very, very impressive, excellent day, killing two players in quick succession of each other, railing the one and then killing the other with LG there. That was very, very quick. I must say,
Wins the round.
God's Hammer is really showing that their aim coming through, that they are very incredibly strong individual players. But I must say, I'm quite impressed with ZFG with their teamwork. A little bit of indecisiveness every now and then. Unfortunately, Fulton goes down there because he was lagging and manages to throw a few grenades that doesn't actually hit anything. But George Quaid just manages to land 2 solid rockets on Philip. That stopped him. That was actually a very good span, stopping anybody coming through that area there.
So we're down to a 3v1. This isn't looking good for ZFG as well. Gibgard has just landed a rail, managed to take down Spaceman, and unfortunately took a rail at the exit of Pillars. That is really unlucky. So God's Hammer taking another round there. It really looks to me that they're quite happy on bridge right now, because it's sort of, they're keeping ZFG contained towards Pillars and slowly encroaching all 4 of them at the same time, and just pinning them in Pillars and then just attacking. It's quite interesting to watch how they hunt, because that's exactly what they're doing at the moment.
Oh yeah, just getting back to accuracies quickly. If we look at ZFG, Fulton's actually managing about a 57% rail. That's very, very good. Like you said the other night, anything over actually 40 is really considered excellent. On average, the ZFG players are actually doing quite well in terms of aim. The damage output isn't really lagging all that much behind. VP though does seem like he's struggling a little bit. I'm looking at him, and then oftentimes he's usually on his own. And that's really something you want to try and avoid as a CA player. You really want to stick with a team here and not do the solo thing, because that's the easiest way to die without being able to do any real damage to the other team. We have some heavy breathing on the stream from somebody.
Wins the round.
This is me, don't worry.
Alright, scores have actually widened quite a bit. We've got 8-3 at this point in time. GH really showing their strength as individual players. Surprising to see that Undead with these insane wells actually lagging behind a little bit in score. Damage-wise, only about 400 damage off the next player, but you can see that their teamwork is actually not all that bad. They are assisting players. When they're engaging, there's usually a team around. And Spaceman just landing some wonderful rockets and rails there.
I actually don't think Ande is playing too seriously at the moment. I don't know, I just noticed it in his playstyle.
Yeah,
not to take anything away from ZFG at all, but he seems to be arse farting a little bit.
So you can see the guys are very relaxed. They are sort of playing with their food, if you want to call it that. But ZFG is not taking it lightly. You can see they pulled a few rounds back, and when it comes down to the push, like now with a 1-1 situation, it's Null versus VP. Null with quite a low stack, about 30 HP, and VP with 84. VP is, isn't relevant at the point in time where Null is, so this is actually going to be quite interesting to see how Null deals with the pressure.
Pete's actually got really good aim. I don't know if anyone or any of the viewers have played any CA games with Pete, but he's improved a lot with regards to aim.
Nice
So,
roll there by Noel.
This could go either way, and right now they're both railable, so one shot is all it's going to take.
Oh, and he actually
Null
does manage
manages to
to
land
second
it.
it. Yeah, that was very unfortunate for ZSG, but well done to Null. Scores 9-3 at this point in time, and as you can see, you know, the ZFG players sort of aren't sticking together all that much. Which is, you know, one of the things that you do see from teams that haven't put in, you know, the same amount of time as, for instance, you know, some of the older Quakers. But, you know, it does seem to work well for them with sort of, you know, not sticking together, working quite well for them, which is quite strange.
That's true. God's Hammer just decided to make a push onto bridge, and it really worked well. I mean, they've effectively cleared that bridge, and they're hunting, and we're down to a 4v2 situation. And Furton, I'm sure, is going to go down here, and God's Hammer have just taken it.
That's it. 10-3. GG's called all round. You know, there's a few things I want to take from that game quickly. You know, well played to Noel and Furton, you know, being the top DPS on both sides. Spaceman actually being tied with Noel for the DPS dealt. You know, you can see some really good accuracy stats on both sides. I mean, Furton rocking 51% rail. You know, Noel was quite up there with the LG as well. And, you know, you can really see the strength from the individual players coming through. On ZFG's side, you know, sort of more of a, you know, a rackety bunch of bandits. You know, I would like to see them band together more, you know, spam areas a little bit more. And I actually just got kicked from the game.
That's those hacks, Peter. Those hacks.
Yeah, it's all my hacks, man. It's the game doesn't like me much.
You back in?
Game
Need the
decided
password?
had enough of your voice.
Viewers on the stream, just ignore the woman in the background. Somebody's let her out of the kitchen. So,
Sorry, folks. We actually forgot to mention to you. Always lurking in the background, like Darkwing Duck, is Tara Gobbs Lawson. How's it, Tara? And Aiden Klein as well. He's tinkering around in there somewhere as well.
Yes, I'm always here. I'm always here.
The Dolphin, as we know him. But we are going to go live here on Hidden Fortress. I'm just watching some of the ZFG players at the moment. So Pete's decided to camp it out in the underwater tunnels, and it's just being spammed out. So that kind of put an end to their push rather quickly. We see a God's Hammer player just charging through now, going towards center area. He's going to be greeted though by 4 of ZFG, and he's going to take a lot of algae damage just going there down there to Furton and give ZFG take the first round quite convincingly.
Some more trash talking. I love this. This is awesome. This is actually going to be quite a very different round. As you can see, the God's Hammer players, you know, really banding together, and immediately you can see the difference when they all work together. Give God going down that round very quickly to lots of rocket spam. It's a 3v4 situation at the moment, and I'd really like to see how you know, how these guys start working together from here. George Quake actually going down as well. VP also down. And
Null landed a fantastic rail.
that was a very good
amazing
rail.
rail.
Begins in 3, 2, 1.
The God's Hammer have brought back. We're down to a tight game, and we see ZFG pushing heavy in the center area now, just fighting to keep control of the center. It seems to be what both teams are quite keen on, or the area that both teams are quite keen on occupying. So George is taking up the rear of the map, and it's going to be joined by Furton, moving his way around to the sort of algae yellow spawn, and pushing back through the center. So I'm still with George right now, and we seem to be down to a 2v1 situation. Null being off in upper tunnels right now.
So he's actually camping the pod area, and he's actually got quite a good stack. So you should, yeah, you know, see that you really don't want to do that. You don't want to jump up down to a player with rail in hand. You know, you do want to, you know, attack him with a more aggressive weapons such as rocket launcher or LG. You know, if you miss that rail, you are open to damage him. Wow, Furton does
amazing.
capitalizes on that jump. Pro tip to everybody watching: when there's a guy upper level with an LG, don't rocket jump at him.
That's very handy.
Oh, lots of damage being put down here.
The Furton
But
just
no,
taking
and-
out Null there, and he
Yeah.
undid as well with an amazing rocket there. He seems to be the key player tonight for ZFG in terms of damage output. He's already at 1.4k damage after 3 rounds. Now, that is a hell of a lot of damage, ladies and gents, and he's just delivered a rail as well, taking him to 1.5. So he's really performing well. Looks to take down Spaceman if he continues to hit that algae. That was amazing stuff.
I must say, Furton's really impressed me so far. Like you said, his damage output is incredibly high. And not only is his damage output high, he manages to capitalize on frags as well. Oh, and he manages a sick
Taking
rail.
down Calypt was
That
a
was a
fantastic
sick
rail.
rail. You know, stepping just outside, having his opponent miss the rail and him hitting it. That was an excellent piece of work.
This
Oh, he manages another one. He actually takes another round.
absolutely amazing. That was brilliant. Fantastic rail. Well played ZOG, well played Furton there. Completely acing that round, if I believe. That was brilliant.
I'd actually like to watch a little bit more of him. I'm actually spectating him at the moment. And,
Getting
this
caught
is-
out there, unfortunately, with some solid algae, taking a rail immediately on the exit, but managing to take down Undead.
And he actually still manages to land a rail after doing on 3 HP and hitting Spaceman with another rail. I
that
must
was
say,
fantastic.
he's really impressing me so far tonight.
His performance is amazing. Seriously, MVP of the match by far.
I must say, he
Fortress at
really
least.
seems to be like the glue, holding the ZFG guys together. And now manages a nice double rail. Oh, missed that
Spaceman
one.
just, if anyone saw, or if anyone could see that rail from Spaceman's perspective, that was insane. Complete flick reaction rail, caught someone right up at the tip of the entrance to Yellow Armor Algae area. It was a brilliant shot.
Oh, another nice round VP. It's a 1 versus 1 scenario now. Stacks, George Quake is on 81 and 51 HP, my apologies, and he actually does go down to Spaceman. It just shows if you are low HP, the other players quickly communicate that to each other. When you're in a reliable position, you take a rail, you quickly lose a round.
Yeah, of course, communication is key in a team-based mode.
I actually quite like to see what GH are doing. They are still a round down at this point in time, but they are fighting back quite well at this point in time.
We've seen some solid team play. GH seems to be sticking together rather effectively, but I'm just not sure. I think ZFG have just... They find it somewhere.
I don't know.
To bring
It
this
just feels
Hidden
like they've
Fortress,
sort of lost that momentum. They had such good momentum. They were up 3-1, and now it just feels like they've sort of thrown caution to the wind, charging down the GH players. Playing very, very aggressively, and it's a little bit strange considering Hidden Fortress is a very campy map. You can play
That's
this
true.
map very defensively, and sort of eliminate the pure aim difference between the two. But it doesn't seem like ZFG is actually opting for that, sort of opting more for the pure aggressive style, like their clan suggests, 0 beeps given.
That's actually quite true. So I'm just watching Undead here. He's had a fantastic patch of the
Wins
play.
the round.
Just great aim in general.
Round
God's
three
Hammer
is
have taken the 4th round, so one up towards God's Hammer. A seriously nice comeback there. They've, you can see they've banded together definitely more closely as a team for this game, or for Hidden Fortress more specifically. They're playing in a lot tighter quarters, and the thing about Hidden Fortress is these tunnels at the back of the map are so tight that it's so easy to be caught out there or trapped by 2 or 3 players. And one player, doesn't matter who you are, being jumped by 3 players in a CA game you're dead. You're not getting out of that
I
alive.
fully agree. Being in such a small area, being bounced by a rocket once, will almost immediately mean death.
Yes, definitely.
Especially if there's more than one player around you from the other team. We are seeing some back and forth here from Furton. He's actually the last player alive on ZFG's side. I'd actually like to see what he's doing so far, and actually just gets rushed down by Calypt, and it looks like Undead. So a little bit unfortunate for him there, but I must say again, I'm watching him play, and the decisions he makes, very seldomly on the decisions he makes bad. His damage output is really great, and this is awesome to see what we're seeing here now, ladies and gentlemen. Both teams sticking together with their guns, all 4 players on each team engaging in a big area. That was awesome to see. Oh, Fortune actually, unfortunately, goes down to Spaceman, but once again, nearly doubling this next person in ZFG, score with his damage output. He's really impressed me tonight so far.
So I'm still watching Spaceman at the moment, and he's managed to land some fantastic algae and a rail. George Quake goes down, unfortunately, seconds after Spaceman leaves the room, and they've taken another round. So this utter aggressive playstyle that you spoke about a few seconds ago, I see that now clearly coming through for God's Hammer. They really decided to put the pressure on and keep that momentum from the runs they picked up earlier. And unfortunately, ZFG haven't quite been able to find a block or a stop to this yet. So the rampage of the onslaught continues. I don't know. Let's see what ZFG can do.
You can see that God's Hammer are smelling blood. They're going in for the kill, going straight for the jugular. What I would like to see ZFG do is sort of slow the game's pace down a little bit, bring it down to, sort of a more manageable level. Take away the pace, the advantage that God's Hammer have got over them, and sort of, maybe, like I said, spam a little bit more, use the map to their advantage. At this point in time, it just sort of seems that, they just intend to do damage, and, God's Hammer is punishing them for that.
Yeah, definitely.
And as I say that, we actually see a bit of more of a defensive play from ZFG. This is much better. Sort of putting back, the God's Hammer's players. And what I like to see is from God's Hammer is they do respect the spam. They realize that you can't just simply enter into an area that is being spammed. The damage you take from going to there, can lead to one or two players death quickly. And as I say that, all the hell breaks loose, and you just got massive DPS going on from all teams.
The God's Hammer really looks like they've taken walked away the best in that situation. Managing to win the round there, and we're sitting with 9-3 right now, ladies and gents. So this is match point.
Indeed, I'd like to see what Furton is actually doing at the moment. Oh, and he gets caught between three guys with lots of LG damage and takes a rocket. Oh, this is actually very hard for him.
That was
down to
chaotic.
47 HP. Oh, it lands a nice roll though. And we see Null just camping it up with two hit points, spending some cheeky rockets, and actually manages to take down Furton. It just shows you, the incredible aim some of the God's Hammer players have got on their team. Oh, and Pete actually takes down Null, and he manages to get down undead as well. This just turned into a 3v3 situation to a 3v1 situation. Spaceman
He still has a fantastic stack though.
Oh yes, it wouldn't surprise me.
Manages to take the round.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Shows you the difference in stack. And ZFG managed to hold on with just this tiny sliver of hope, and let's see if they can pull another one through.
God's Hammer is so aggressive, just trying to pick away at ZFG here, but unfortunately they just don't have that positional advantage. It's really difficult to enter the sort of the tele exit area because they're all choke points.
Yeah, no,
So easy
I
to
must
spam
say,
it.
God's Hammer do use that to their advantage. They try and not fight in the small areas, which is good positioning. We do see VP actually going out to more open areas.
Amazing rails there by Null.
And some more trash talking going on before the game ends, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The second map, 10-4. Most damage is actually done by Furton. Well done.
Yeah, particularly well played to Furton. That was a fantastic performance. We see Spaceman rocking a 48% LG, and some of the stats disappeared there, but they were awfully high. We had some 33s, 28s, yeah, all solid aims, and it was a fantastic game actually. Do you know if we're going to have any more maps? Anyone?
I actually thought I saw one of the ZFG guys after the game. I'm not too sure if that's going to happen. So it does look like they are keen on maybe another map.
Vote now. Vote pass.
5v5 with bomb plane. I must say though, it's refreshing to see some trash talking going on, but nothing being taken too seriously. Both sides being quite jovial about it. Doing the trash talking, but at the same time, not getting disrespectful. It just adds to the feeling in the community of Quake. Because if you grew up with Quake like I have, and like yourself have, Nick, you should know by now that trash talking is very much a part of the game. It is the meta aspect of the game, unsettling your opponent, a bit of trash talking, nothing too serious, nothing too personal.
Hell yes. A particular favorite of mine in the community is obviously Azel.
Oh yes.
He's amazingly funny to keep online. I wish that guy would come back.
2, 1.
Having said that, we actually just gone live with our third map, which is Almost Lost.
Brilliant.
We actually see Baseman doing quite a bit of damage there already, manages to take down one of the ZFG players. And once again, just with the pure flat-out rushing aggression being seen here from God's Hammer, and some more trash talking going on there. I'd not like to repeat that on stream, but ZFG definitely living up to the team name.
Almost Lost is an interesting map choice for them. They seem to enjoy the really tight spaces.
I've also noticed that they do like, they've got quite heavy railers, so you can see that coming through in their playstyle. But just quickly looking at God's Hammer, we actually see Void being swapped out with Undead actually spectating this game. I wonder if that was a conscious decision, or if they just wanted to have Void get some game time.
I think it's more the latter. I mean, there was nothing particularly wrong with Null's performance. Null obviously taking the round there, or winning the game on Hidden Fortress with the 2 rails towards the end. But yeah, I think it's more. I think it's more just Void looking to get some game time.
I'm not sure if you saw that, but Furton just managed to land 2 rail hits, killing 2 players in succession on 1 HP.
I did not see that at all.
He is so low, even just a slight wind or breeze will kill him at this point in time, and he is actually staying away. He actually does go down to Void.
Round begins in 3,
So
2.
Void's actually doing quite well, 4 for nothing at the moment. Kalip doing particularly well, 6 for scratch. So Void just using the patient rail.
I do like what I'm seeing from the players using the small areas to their advantage. Rounds are so quick, we can barely keep up. To our viewers out there, guys, casting this is actually quite hard. I think we should have maybe stocked up on some players or Monster Energy drinks, because these games and rounds are happening so fast, so quick. Literally within seconds, you've got 3 or 4 guys going down.
Monster would be pretty good right now.
Of course, Monster, if you guys are listening.
Anyway, we're back on CA here, and ZFG have managed to pick up around. George Quake just picking up the rail there, and we've seen them take the first round on Almost Lost. So, do you think they can keep the little bit of momentum they've gathered right now? They seem to be playing really defensive, and Void's just picking away at their front runner George here, and George having to escape. Not taking too much damage though, but Void aggressive as hell, pushing through with that algae, going down eventually to Gibgod. That was quite an interesting passage of play. Void managing to do some damage to almost every player there, but eventually going down, and Null just picking up the rail there onto Gibgod, winning the round. So 5-1 in favor of God's Hammer, ladies and gents. This is looking, yeah, they seem to be really comfortable as a team, God's Hammer as it is. As you mentioned earlier, ZFG aren't quite sticking together enough in order to do damage to a particular player and then peck away at the rest of them. But as you can see, God's Hammer are just making brilliant use of the natural aim that they have in their team.
Right now, they are just absolutely messing up ZFG. They are just left, right, and center. The last 2 rounds, two of their players were above 150 HP stack. You know, at this point in time, you could really see the aim, you know, coming into play. But what I do like to see about, you know, from ZFG is when they do win rounds, they aren't just winning it with single players. You know, they're winning it with 2 or 3 players still alive, which does show you that, you know, they are quite capable of working together as a team. But, you know, I believe the spam is not really, you know, all that good to stop the rushing players from coming through. You know, when Void managed to push through that one round doing damage to all 4 players, you know, that happening shows you the quality of play that he's capable of, you know, but it also shows you the lack of, you know, the defensive play on ZFG. You know, a player pushing through like that shouldn't be able to do that much damage, you know, if good spam is being put down.
That's true. That is very true. Do you think it's more just experience in terms of their knowledge of the game and how to handle situations of that sort? Or is this actually a lack in teamwork or lack in coordination between ZFG right now?
I think Void, you know, a lot of his decision making comes from experience, you know, obviously identifying that the enemy team is not, you know, using spam as much as they can. You know, I'm actually watching Spaceman now, you know, using the same example. Spaceman saw that the enemy had a railgun in, you know, moved in, popped him with a rocket up in the air, and actually managed to kill him, you know. So some really good decision making individual, you know, by the individuals play, you know, using the weak spots to their advantage from ZFG. But, you know, yes, I actually think the big thing I would probably say at this point in time is the experience.
Yeah, well, on that, can I just say something quickly? As a team, ZFG only really started playing together this year, so they are still very new at CA, and most of the players haven't been playing for more than 2 years, compared to the GH guys. So yes, it's definitely experience, but ZFG, I think they've actually started to really form a team together, which is nice to see from my side at least.
Oh no,
No, I
definitely.
completely agree.
I agree. You know, it's nice to see, you know, teams coming, you know, sort of out of the woodwork and, you know, are pitching into these friendly, you know, games. And this is really what we want to, you know, what we want to see and what we want to do is, you know, is to keep the community alive. Having teams such as ZFG, having teams such as GH, you know, join the other, you know, well-established teams, you know, playing more games, getting the experience, because I mean, after all, the only way you get more experience is by playing. But I will say this, you know, I've been really impressed with Furton's play tonight. You know, VP I haven't seen much of. You know, his aim is very, very good. You know, I see a lot of potential in the ZFG guys. You know, and you know, you can clearly see that there's a big gap in experience between the players. You know, as Aiden, you know, quite clearly pointed out. But you know, that's not the only limiting factor here. And you can see the ZFG guys are fighting back. You know, I just like to see them stick around or stick together a little bit more, you know, to sort of punish the extremely aggressive play from God's Hammer.
This map in particular, I'm not too fond of. It's always... I've never enjoyed the patient game. I enjoy Quake for its speed and the outright aggression you can have in terms of playstyle. So regardless of who I go against, I've always preferred, well, to hell with it, I'm just going to attack. But this map seems to breed a very defensive playstyle naturally by either team, and by default the area that everyone seems to charge for is that nest in the front of the map. So we see God's Hammer traditionally taking this position, and Null just raining down fantastic damage there, managing to take down Furton and do a hell of a lot of damage to another ZFG player, just coming up that center jump pad.
Oh no, I'm actually just watching this, and you know, he has done so much damage this round. He's on 607 damage for this round, 57 LG.
Round begins in 3, 2, 1.
The nest area of Overkill is key to this map. Controlling this at the round start is your sort of stronghold, and you're able to branch out into the rest of the map after that initial confrontation. So it gives you a lot of leeway with regard to the rest of the map, because 90% of the time the enemy are already going to be low from that initial confrontation. And just because you had upper ground at the start, you've managed to retain so much of that stack, you can really push through and roll with the map.
Well, then it just usually becomes a number game, as you can see at the moment, you know, just having 3 GH players, you know, rush down a ZFG guy, you know, you can see it's a pure numbers game if you can manage to keep that stack. It sort of, you know, eliminates the you know, the aim factor a little bit. You know, if you've got 3 guys versus 1, you know, the one guy will definitely go down unless, you know, the other 3 guys are very low stack. And you can see, you know, God's Hammer using that to their full advantage. You know, like you said, using the upper ground advantage. That, you know, positioning is so incredibly important in Quake Live, especially in, you know, CO where, you know, items aren't on the map. You know, where aim and positioning becomes quite. And Spaceman actually manages to get knocked into the lava by one of the ZFG guys waiting around the corner, pops him in a rocket, and down he goes.
That's unlucky. I hate when that happens though. That's so unfortunate.
It's a good strategy to use, though, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, definitely. A well-placed rocket will send you flying off into that mist so quickly.
No, for sure. And I mean, that's an insta-kill right there. You know, you don't even have a choice.
Just gonna apologize for the lag, guys. There's not much I can do about it. Sorry about that.
Got, you know, doing some good work upstairs at the nest area. You know, doing some good damage. You know, we're currently in a 3v4 situation, and I just like to see the ZFG guys sort of band together and lay down game when the God's Hammer guys do come in. Oh, we see a beautiful flank by Undead on VP. That was actually very well played. Waiting for the other guys to engage first and then hitting him from the back. You know, very, very good example of how flanking works well.
So again, God's Hammer have just taken Nest, and you see ZFG adopting this very defensive playstyle, but Null just managing to pick away at them with some spam. That is why peeking is never a good thing.
That you know, God's Hammer, and Kalip actually taking a bit of damage there, but it does seem like he is actually lagging a little bit, and VP actually does pay for that bit of damage he's done there. Boy, just chasing him down there.
Red wins the round.
So he decided to jump between 2 of God's Hammer's player and or players, and unfortunately got taken out rather quickly.
Yeah, you can see the damage output, you know, when you've got 2 LGs on you, you know, you just die within 30 seconds.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Just, your HP just melts away, as we can see there by Spaceman, you know, just killing Gimgab. You know, you can see Void up here at the top of the, you know, nest, just holding down the area, laying. And it just shows, you can see he's average in a 2.3k, 39 average rocket.
Yeah, definitely. They're sort of able to control the momentum of the game as well. Or that they control just in outright aim. So, I mean, they decide when to push and when to leave right now, as it seems. But, yeah, ZFG, unfortunately, just not managing to pick up these kills. They're doing damage. But, I mean, if you look at 13, rocking 1.8k damage as well as peak, it's not like they're not hitting. So, I think it's just more cohesion between the team. If you look at God's Hammer right now, they seem to be just pushing in packs, 2 at a time, 2 or 3 at a time, and it works. You know, it's a solid strategy.
Yeah, no, you definitely can't fault them for that. You know, you've got 2 players, one with a good stack leading, you know, and there's the one behind them doing good damage as well, and you've got a guy flanking, you know, and you're being shot from 3 different directions, which makes it difficult for any player to respond to that, you know, which is once again why it's so incredibly important to stick together. Speaking of sticking together, you actually see the ZFG guys taking the nest this time, and it's actually paying off dividends for them this round.
I was just about to mention that. I see Null's been forced down, and we're down to a 2v2. Null and Spaceman up against Pete and Lomac. Peach is going down, unfortunately, there.
And Spaceman actually does decide to visit the mist again, it seems. It seems like he's got timeshare there. Does decide to jump into there. I'm not sure if he was knocked into a rocket there. At this point in time, we've got a decent stack for Null. Lomac is on 94 HP. Null is aware of where Lomac is. Just a quick question though. Do you know if they've disabled free spec?
I have no idea.
Round begins in 3.
Quite interesting. I'd like to know, to check maybe. At this point in time, it does seem like God's Hammer are going to take this game 10-0. They are currently up 8-0. You know, just punishing the ZFG guys for being alone. any 1v1 situation, you can just clearly see the the big aim difference. And this is something that I'd like to see from teams in the future as well. It's just negate the aim advantage from the other team by sticking together as a team, sticking together as a pack. 5v1ing a guy, and just abusing that team stack that you've got.
So as I mentioned, God's Hammer just really close teamwork, pushing through with some good coordination and taking advantage of the fact they are strong aimers. And we see them taking this round 10-0. So GG, well played to God's Hammer. There was some solid teamwork there, and I think that's a really good example. Ladies and gents, if you'd like to see a good example of teamwork and just coordination in general, I definitely suggest you watch Overkill here this evening. That was some really solid work there. Well played to ZFG. We saw some, well, I'm sure they can walk away learning a great strategy as we're using God's Hammer as a great strategy going forward. So,
oh yeah, definitely. What any person or any team should take away from this, specifically from that round, it's not really about losing 10-0. It's not really about getting owned, if you want to put it that way. What that helps is it gives ZFG good experience versus a really strong team, really strong individual players. It shows them which areas they need to work on, which areas they excel at. And it's really very much a learning experience. And the nice thing about if you really want to put it that way, about I would say weaker teams or less experienced teams playing really strong teams, is like power leveling sort of in Diablo. Playing really strong teams all the time helps you adapt to the game a lot quicker than playing teams of equal level. Playing teams of equal level doesn't really show you the gaps in your play, it doesn't really show you the weaknesses in your strengths, but playing a really strong team does. So it's not all negative. I saw a lot of good stuff coming from both teams. I saw not as good stuff from both teams actually. And you can obviously attribute that to the players not playing together as much. The team cohesion is not there, but all in all, very enjoyable so far. I really can't fault both teams all that much. Just a few small niggles, but UEC, this is actually what, map 6, map 5 going live.
Yeah, I think this
Are we
is
gonna
map
go
4.
another map?
So we're on Asylum at the moment, and I'm speaking Ferdinand at the moment. He's been a player that both Senchev I enjoyed, or I really have enjoyed watching this evening, laying down some solid performance, and as we did mention, just been taken down there. Yeah.
Ouch.
Gets taken down there quite easily by 3 of God's Hammer's players, so they're off to a rather sluggish start on Asylum here.
And Asylum also very much lends to the sort of camping, rail heavy style where you can spam from a long area, and I'm surprised to see not any of the teams really using that. You do have some rails and some spam being done, but both teams are, quite keen and intent on moving around on the map. At this point in time, we actually managed to see ZFG take down a few of the God's Hammers players before falling themselves, which really shows you that, both teams are quite intent on playing the aggressive game.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, not to take anything away from God's Hammer, but ZFG are impressing me just in terms of outright aggression. No fear at all, just, straight balls to the wall, and exactly as the name says, So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this Asylum. There's some really cool shots coming from the ZFG guys.
It's a good thing, in certain aspects. It does teach you as a Quake Life player how to deal with aggression, how to be aggressive yourself, what to do in that situation. There are a lot of positive things, to be taken from this. What I would like to see, though, specifically from God's Hammer, though, is maybe a little bit more of restraint, to show that, not only are they a team of phenomenal players, but also a team that can, use discretion and, for instance, patience to their advantage. Not every team out there, will play the aggressive game, and I really feel at this point in time that God's Hammer has sort of lured ZFG to play their game, which is the aggressive, in-your-face, LG out, 4 guys versus 1 game. And, I think that ZFG hasn't really realized that and adopted to it yet.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So we see God's Hammer taking the 5th round here on Asylum. That's
Round begins.
I'm not going to say it was a surprise. I just wish ZFG, as you can see from round start, the ZFG are very hell-bent on taking one-on-one situations where they could be taking advantage of the 5v1 situation. And that's so important in a clan arena, especially since they're going up a team that has are stronger in terms of aim and just have more experience in or situational experience in Quake Live. So they should really be banding together more as a team and then taking down or working away at God's Hammer stack.
No, I agree. What I would like to see is, and this is, I almost want to blame Public CA for a lot of what you're seeing here is the same way sort of a player, any good player would approach Public CA, sort of, every man for himself, and not really, every for himself, and you can see that quite a bit on God's Hammer's side as well. You get your Nile, you get your Spaceman, they just sort of venture off on their own, and just they do absurd amount of damage. You can't take that away from them. But at the same time, you also see them, doing the solo thing, and that's very much something that Public CA, has sort of taught our players in the community.
I completely agree with you there. I'm very guilty of that myself. I rather enjoy the solo play in CA because I can keep my frustration levels to a minimum. In Public CA, as you know, it's just a general spam fest, and I become easily infuriated with catching team spam and pushing me into corners I don't want to be in. And you've played countless times, I'm sure it's happened. But it is, as you said, unfortunate.
You always get people complaining that people leave them alone and run away. Because of fuckers like you. There's my one swear word, I'm sorry.
We'll feed
Fine, it's an adult stream.
It's all good. But I have to agree there with Bobs. One of the things I like to do, or at least try to do, is when I do play, is I try and sort of look at the game in a team perspective and try and play with my teammates as teammates. Not seeing them as simply, meat shields taking up the damage while I deal it, but actually trying to help them in the situation and just trying to sort of play the numbers game, helping a team out when he's being attacked, laying down some cover fire, cover spam, and that sort of things, you can do in a Public CA game. And obviously there are some things you can't work as, cohesion as a team, working together as a unit, that sort of thing. But on your individual skill, you can teach yourself to sort of move away from the, Superman, sort of Chuck Norris, Leroy Jenkins, just want everybody for himself moving in, plus forward style of playing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, guys, this is the last map. I'm gonna call the stream after the scam.
Alright, guys, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed our cast so far tonight. I've really been enjoying the games you've been seeing so far, and the occasional clips we've been hearing from Dobbs in the background. Vic, your thoughts so far?
Well, I've really enjoyed the CA. It's been some really fun games this evening, and some fantastic play by
Red wins.
Fearton, as you mentioned earlier, and then just God's Hammer in general played fantastically well tonight. Just showing through, or just really showing the experience in terms of length of individual play, or length of individual play, and just amazing outright teamwork. ZFG lacking the experience, as Aiden mentioned earlier. They are a relatively new team still, but being able to play at the level they have this evening, I'm really looking forward to seeing them in a couple of months after they play together. We do have them registered for the DGL, which is going to see them together for quite some time, because as we all know, the DGL, or one of the DGL's rules, is you can't really change teams mid-season. So we're definitely going to see ZFG, or this ZFG team, grow together in terms of experience, talent, aim. So hopefully in a few months we can have a rematch between these two teams and see some different results.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I really like what I've seen so far tonight. Neither team really did a lot of, or anything really, really bad or really wrong. A lot of positive came out of the games. That it was a little bit one-sided, but just going into the game, you can see that the God's Hammer players just have the edge at this point in time in terms of raw aim and maybe individual skill. But once again, this comes down to this is CA, this is not duel. It is a team game, and team cohesion plays a bigger role in the game than just pure raw aim. You can be the best player in the world, and I can guarantee you, if you're going up against 5 guys all with LGs, you are going to die, definitely. So there's a lot of positive I think the ZFG guys can take away from this. Congratulations to God's Hammer for their really excellent performance so far tonight. But I would like to see them also, like I said a little bit earlier, show some little bit of restraint, show that they can actually play the the intelligent game, maybe a little bit more passive game, use the map to their advantage. Because when they've also entered into DGL, when they start playing stronger teams, you simply can't just plus forward into an area and expect to get kills.
Yeah, definitely true. Definitely true. But saying that at the same time, it's exactly the thing we saw God's Hammer do this evening. And because they have the confidence and teamwork together, they can take advantage of that and really push through into those situations that you wouldn't expect any team to walk away from. But as we mentioned earlier, there's some fantastic plays in God's Hammer as well. So yeah, generally enjoyed the CA this evening. It was a really little fun public challenge. I don't know who did the challenge come from, ZFG or from God's Hammer?
I'm actually not too sure, to be honest. I think it was from ZFG. But what I would like to say, and this goes out to the whole community, if you guys are listening to the stream or watching this, after the stream's gone live, and you guys are sitting here, watching this. Now, I urge you guys, do the same thing, get a couple of mates together, start a team, come play against some of the better guys, It is a massive amount of fun, it's a very much a run and gun game, if you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, there's always a lot of fun, in Quake to be had, like Nick said, the public CAs, etc. But, I really like to see, up and coming teams, taking the initiative, challenging another team, and going, like you said, balls to the wall, playing a few maps, 5 or 6 maps, and just having a ball of it. It's refreshing to see people actually playing the game and not just public CAing all the time. The same can be said about the TDM we had the other night. It's refreshing to see some of the other game modes being played, new teams entering the arena, some incredible skill hiding. I mean, Furton has absolutely just impressed me, beyond belief tonight. I mean, I can't believe the guy's got such incredible aim and map control, and I mean, where's he been hiding?
Very, very true. We saw some brilliant play from Furton tonight. Much better than what I was expecting, and yeah, I think ZFG have invested in a solid play there. So I hope he uses that, or that. I'm not sure if he's played before, if that's just natural talent. But I hope he invests that back into ZFG and helps improve or helps provide the experience or impart some knowledge back into the rest of his team there. So we can see ZFG growing from strength to strength.
Oh no, I agree. I mean, Holgroth, you are listening in the background, Aiden. He's definitely a guy you want to keep. Use him, abuse him.
Yep, I'm here.
Share that experience and aim you've got there. He's definitely a benefit to your team. He's definitely an asset and you want to keep him, you want to grow him into a really good player.
Well, if he's anything like his brother, then he's going to get there with shortly anyway, so yeah.
Who is his brother?
Spaceman.
Ah, okay, alright.
So yeah, we bagged the good fish there.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say keep him. Use them as much as you can. All in all, like I said, it really wasn't bad games. It was a bit one-sided, like I said, but that was to be expected. But I really like what ZFG put in. All right, guys. I think we can sort of close off at this point in time. Nick, can we maybe try and pick a couple more teams to try and maybe do this next week? Maybe over the weekend when it's public holidays.
I don't know what everyone's schedule is going to be like. Public holidays are notoriously difficult to arrange stuff with people going away and visiting family, and it's kind of awkward having them over and streaming and casting at the same time. But I'm definitely keen if we can find. Sorry, Gobs, what was that?
Nav TV will be streaming the Liberty Land CS:GO tournament this weekend.
There we go, fantastic.
Just while we're talking about events, I would just like to quickly inform people who have not seen the posts on the Quake Live South Africa page on Facebook about the ZFG Community Duel Ladder. It's really just for fun, you know, give people a chance to challenge people better than themselves all the time, and just really improve and hopefully build spirits within the community. So if you play Duel, don't be scared, just come join up. It will be lots of fun, I promise. Thank you.
Thank you, Aiden.
Pleasure.
That's pretty cool, man. So, ZFG getting involved in the community, guys, prepared to host a friendly community fun ladder for everyone to take part in. As Aiden did mention, it is dual mode. So, if you are interested or would be keen to just practice duel in general, you've got the opportunity coming up rather shortly.
Yeah.
But,
sorry, they can.
You mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be closing out this evening, so I'd just like to thank everyone for joining me. Peter, thank you very much, man. Awesome to have you on the first, the first show. That's my co-caster.
Thanks for having me.
Gobs, Aiden, and as always in the background, Burning Red, Nathaniel. Thank you, man.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Right.
Cool. And Aiden for obviously ZFG for hosting the comp or the friendly this evening. So thanks again for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Till we see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, guys, but I am still here. I don't know if they've actually closed off the stream now. Let me just check quickly. Just give me a second. Okay. So I'm here still, and I shall be speccing this. It looks like a 3v3 TDM between ZFG and GH still. Sorry, not a TDM. What am I saying? It's a CA. It's on Blood Run. This is their 6th match tonight, so they must be getting tired now, but they are still going strong at it. And yeah, I'm not gonna really do too much fake casting. Just gonna let you enjoy it. After all, this is just a friendly, so yeah. I shall point out things that I do pick up though. I must say, they are playing a lot slower than they have been on the previous maps. With Gibgod getting caught off guard, they coming around the corner. Nice rocket to his face.
3, 2, 1, fight. Wins the round. Round begins in 3, 2, 1, fight. Red wins the round. Round begins in 3, 2, 1, fight. Red wins the round. Round begins in 3, 2, 1, fight. Round begins in 3, 2, 1, fight. Round begins in 3, 2, 1, fight. Wins the round. Round begins in 3, 2, 1, fight. Red wins.
And that's it, guys. That was the number 6 friendly CA between ZFG and God's Hammers. Excellently played by all. Excellently fun to watch. But before I close off, guys, I just want to say again, the ZFG community duel ladder. It's going to be lots of fun. You can go to www.zfg.co.za to get all the information. Just send me an email, say you want in, give me your Quake Live profile link, and you will be in, and then I will email you and let you know when it will be starting, and I will include the rules and everything. It will be lots of fun. Just really give you a chance to get up there and, you know, have some fun duels, mess around, do whatever. It will be awesome. Anyway, thanks very much, guys. I will be signing up now. Hope you enjoyed it. There will be some more friendlies coming up. But yeah, thank you. See you in the next one.